Hi guys, okay, so it's now time for chapter 3 or step 3 of A Runaway Robot. Now, I've only managed to download this up to this chapter for you guys to be able to read with me, and it only goes part way through the chapter. So what's going to have to happen is I'll read it with you and you'll be able to see the words, and then I'm just going to have to just go to a photograph, and then I'm going to read from the novel until I can work out a way. I can't go from reading this to video without it be a complete confuffle, but if I can, as of the next chapter, I will even sort of try and video the pages as I read them, so at least you've got something to focus on. But you've got a bit for the first part, and then you'll just need to look at a photograph. You certainly don't want to look at my face right now because it's quite late when I'm reading this. Okay, so step 3, lost property. I ran off into departures. If you've got a ticket and a passport, you can run into departures and end up in Miami. I ended up running slap bang into the chest of a security guard. Not quite into his chest, to be honest, more into his beard. It was very long and so thick and vast that he seemed more beard than person. A beard in uniform. A talking beard. No running in the airport, the beard said. Sorry, where are your parents? I could see the face behind the beard now. They're not here. Are you an unaccompanied minor? I wasn't sure what that was. It doesn't sound good. He tutted. You better come with me. I really didn't want to do that, so I lifted up my arm and I said, I lost my hand. The security guard jumped back in a flurry of beard, his head swivelling as if he was looking for my hand, except he was looking at the ceiling, as if there was a disembodied hand bleeding all over the floor. He really didn't know what. He really didn't want to see it. Sorry, he said. I'll get a doctor. No, it's a special hand, made of plastic. A toy hand? How many fingers? Normal number, 5 including a thumb. Any distinguishing features? Wedding rings or such? I'm not married, I'm 12. Right, he swiped the screen and waited. It seems we've had a number of hands handed in. I waited for her to tell me more, but she paused and stared at me like her mind was buffering. Hands handed in? Hello, joke. Oh yes, very funny. We have a pair of hands in aisle 11, which are tartan with little baubles in the back. The fingers are like little Loch Ness monsters, and I think they're probably gloves. She peered at me, then she peered at her tablet. You may well be right, she said. Blue leather hand with pearl buttons at the wrist, and that's a glove too, isn't it? Think so. So much for image recognition. She swiped the screen, then a few times muttering, glove? Another glove. That's a doll. That's not even a hand. That's hand cream. What is wrong with you? She yelled at the screen. Sorry, guys, said her tablet in a frightened voice. Searches seem to be fuzzier than usual today. Happy to help, swiped the screen, but quickly, like a slap, the tablet said. You're exhibiting signs of stress. Why not try taking a few deep breaths? Be mindful. Aisle 14, one hand. Come with me, said Happy to help. Arrivals is a properly noisy place. People are cheering and crying. Phones are going. There are announcements every couple of minutes. Lost property, on the other hand, is seriously quiet. The only sound was of Happy to Help's heels on the tiles. Tap, 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 as they went. As they were disgusted with the whole idea of walking. I followed her down a corridor of shelves, long shelves stretching miles into the distance and high over our heads. Shelves crowded with plastic boxes labelled with words like umbrellas, phones and teeth. Sometimes through a gap I could see there were other shelves, shelves beyond shelves, shelves stretching to the left and right like lanes in infinite bowling alley. Everything here had been forgotten. Pushchairs, wheelchairs, luggage and laptops, metre upon metre of lost dolls and teddy bears. Their brown eyes seemed to follow us as we passed, like they were saying, come and stay with us in the land of forgotten toys forever. Stick close to me, said Happy to Help over her shoulder. The lights are activated by my presence. It can get very dark in the shelves when I'm not here. People have known to get lost in lost property. I've got an app that takes me to the selected item. See? I chased after the pool of light that swirled around her tutting feet. There was a coffin on one of the shelves we passed. I hope that it was empty. 2 aisles over, something that looked like the helmet from a suit of armour was lying on its side. She just breezed past it. I swear the head shifted on the shelf, watching us go by. Okay, that could have just been the light moving. Her phone said, "Your selected item is on the left." "Happy to help." Stopped and looked. "One hand," said the phone. "Happy to have helped." Now I've come to the end of the book on the iPad, so I'm going to go to the picture, which I know is not the best. Okay, and I'm going to leave it lying there, and I'm going to turn to the novel, and I'm going to, hopefully you're going to still hear me, okay? She motioned to me to pick up the hand and tutted towards the exit. There was a hand in the shelf, all right, but it wasn't my hand. It was huge, 3 times the size of a human hand. It had long pointy fingers made of jointed steel. When I tried to pick it up, it was so heavy I could hardly lift it, let alone carry it. Not with my one remaining hand anyway. So I had to rest it on my shoulder, like a soldier carrying a rifle, and follow her back the way we came. I had to rush to catch up with her, or I would have been locked in there forever, lost as that long-lost coffin. We passed the helmet thing again. It was looking at me again, only this time it wasn't a trick of the light. Its eyes flickered blue. I tried to hurry past it. Happy to help was way ahead now. The light followed her. I could see the cone of light ahead, but everything around me was in darkness. Then, out of that darkness, something grabbed me. I didn't want to look, but I had to. A metal hand, but this one was on the end of a metal arm, and the metal arm was attached to the shoulder of a massive metal body. The massive metal body was lying flat on the shelf. At one end of the metal body was the helmet of the flickering blue eyes. Armadillo-style plated steel fingers curled round my flesh. The hand moved, my hand up and down. I was nearly rigid with fear. Then something flashed across my brain. "Are you?" I said, shaking hands with me. "I am the world's most polite robot." I'm used to that voice now, but the first time I heard it, it was a bit of a shock. It's a voice that could stop traffic. I wish you could hear it. A mixture of wind and steel, like bagpipes playing inside a washing machine, but with words. "Is this your hand?" I asked, turning round so it could see the hand hanging from my shoulder. I can answer almost any question. Is this your hand? Sorry, I am unable to answer that question. The helmet turned towards me, 2 eyes set in 2 huge dark pits, sparkle blue as he saw me. The mouth was as wide as a letterbox and burned an electric fire yellow as he spoke. Imagine looking into the slot of a toaster and you'll know what I mean. In fact, there was a slight smell of burning electricity about him. I tried to stay calm. I could see that there was a catch inside the metal hand that more or less matched another catch inside this handless wrist. "Hold your wrist up," I said. "I am your obedient servant." "Great, never had a servant before. Do you know how this fastens?" "I am the world's most knowledgeable robot. So, do you know how to put your hand back on?" "I am sorry, I am unable to answer that question. And now, the national anthem, God Save Our Gracious King." This thing started to sing. Well, not sing exactly, but I don't know what else to call it. The noise it was making, it was like a human singing, more like a tractor singing with a backing track of steam and hammers. Surely, I thought, when he heard all the noise, happy to help me come back and help me out of this situation. Then, mid-chorus, it stopped singing and leaned forward, although thinking of something. "It is good manners to stand during the national anthem." "I am standing. You're the only one who's sitting." The metal suit didn't speak or move. Maybe I'd been a bit rude. Can you be rude to a chunk of metal? I tried to make up for it by starting a different conversation. "Are you in lost property because you've lost something? Or Are you in lost property because you're lost? I mean, are you the lost thing or the loser? I have got lost. Inside the suit, I could hear cogs clicking and wheels whirring. I thought it might be the sound of robot tears, I said. I said, shall I try to put your hand back on? Thinking this might cheer it up. But it was not the sound of robot tears. It was the sound of robot effort as he tried to stand up. Its eyes flashed blue. Its mouth burned bright orange. The helmet ducked inside the aisle. Arms reached out. One leg steadied itself on the floor. Then I was waiting for the other leg to appear, but there was no other leg. Whoa, I said, don't stand up. You've only got one leg. It is customary to stand during the national anthem. Yeah, but you've only got one leg. You're going to fall on top of me. You're going to kill me. It tried to steady itself by planting a hand on the shelf. Its head rose up and up and up. My days, I said, you're huge. God save the king. And loud, you're really, really loud. The shelves shook in their boxes. The lost teeth chattered. The mislaid coffin shuddered as if the body was going to climb out of it. Lost luggage trembled. Suddenly it let go of the shelf and nodded its head. At least it was a nod to start with, but then it became a topple. Eyes flashing, teeth blazing, mouth roaring. Long live our noble king. Its massive face was crashing towards me. Something flashed across my brain, something familiar. What was it? Oh, yes, that was it. Fear. Absolute, extreme fear. End of chapter 2. Next chapter is called, again, I missed a step, absolute, extreme fear. Oh, it's getting quite intense. I'm hoping you're enjoying it. I am, for definite. So, we shall return to this tomorrow. And if we're getting into it, I might even start doing 2 chapters a day. I'd like you to let me know. Do you want 2? I'll go for 2. It would be 2 videos, but I'm up for it. Let me know. Okay, guys? Speak to you soon. And over and out.